check again, but will that still count?
Well, I've increased the deadline so you can submit the assignment. Okay, so the deadline is the next Monday, so you can submit the assignment. In fact, I'm going to delete that assignment. Okay, you don't have to do simple X because now I want your total focus on Bootstrap. Now I don't want you to focus
Okay, so
on
I
previous
can
things.
submit it in?
No, you don't have to submit it. Okay, so wait, let me delete that assignment because I don't want you to focus on any other thing. So wait.
And there's two of them, like continually implement or
Yeah, both of them. You shouldn't do it. Okay, so the first one is deleted and the second one is deleted as well. Yeah, that's it. Now I want your total focus, total like all of your all of the focus which should be on Bootstrap. Okay, media queries is a thing of past. Just focus on Bootstrap. Okay, so the website we are going to create today is going to be is called Arsha. Okay, so basically it's a really big website. Okay, but again it's quite easy when it's done with Bootstrap. So I'll write Arsha and Bootstrap, and we have this template. So it's called Arsha live demo, and yeah, this is the website we want to create. Okay, so this is quite a big website, but it's gonna be easy inshallah as we're using Bootstrap. So this is the website we want to create, and it has, I guess, 15 to 20 sections. Okay, so let us start. And first of all, we want to create a new folder using command line interface. So how do I open command line? How do I open it? Yes, window plus R, and then I'll write cmd. Okay, so at the moment I'm in the HP directory. I want to change my directory to desktop. So how do I do that? How do I do it?
CD.
CD, good. And then I'll write, let's say, D, and yeah, that's it. And then I want to make a folder. What's the shortcut for that? Very good, very good. mkdir, mkdir, and then space, and then I'll name it Arsha, and we'll have a folder created Arsha. So now I want to cd to Arsha, so I'll just write cd and then press A and then press tab. Yeah, so that's exactly what I want. So I'll press enter, and I want to open it with VS Code. How do I do that? How do I open it with VS Code?
Code.
Code, and then
Arsha.
no,
Dot.
dot. Good, because I want to open the current folder. So that is we are already in Arsha. So dot would refer to open this current folder, and press enter. And yeah, we have VS Code open and the folder is open, and now I'll create a file with the name of index.html, and plus I'll also create styles.css because I need my own styling in this website. Styles.css. Okay, so yeah, so how do I generate the boilerplate? I'll just write exclamation mark, and now I want to include Bootstrap in it. How do I do it? Wait, let me first check whether everything's working fine or not. Save, and then I'll go with go live, and yeah, I have Salam. So is Bootstrap included or not?
No.
How do you know?
For the box.
Very good, because of the styling. The styling is in the Bootstrap one. So how do I include Bootstrap?
With the link.
Very good. And where should I get the link?
Bootstrap.com.
Yeah, good. So I'll just write Bootstrap and the first link, and make sure is the latest version selected, 5.3. Yeah, good. The serial link, scroll down a bit, and this time we want to have both of these links because why? The first one is for the styling purposes, and the second one is for the functionality purposes. Although you don't have to understand any of this right now, because this would be our next topic, but just for the functionality purposes we want both of these things. So first one, I'll copy it, and where do I paste it?
In the head.
Yeah, in the head, good. and this second one is the script. So basically script refers to JavaScript. Okay, this would be our next topic, inshallah. So JavaScript is is responsible for the functionality of the website. So at the moment we want to have functionality, pre-built functionality that Bootstrap offers. So that's why we need this link. So I'll just copy it. Okay, so the link is pasted in the head part, and the script is always pasted in the body part. Okay, the script tag is always used in the body tag, but the script should always be used in the last, like after all of the HTML. Why is that? Because first we want to execute our HTML, and then we want to execute our script. Okay, does that make any sense?
The JavaScript,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, the JavaScript. Okay,
That goes before the body,
inside the body.
in the body.
Okay, inside the body, but after all of the HTML, like in the last. Okay,
Oh, okay.
so why is that? Because we want our HTML to be executed before our JavaScript. Okay, okay, so I'll just save it and I'll go back to my website. So is the Bootstrap included now?
Yeah.
Yeah, and how do we know that? Because of the styling and margin and stuff. Okay, great, let us start. The first question for you guys is, do we have a container or container fluid being used here?
No.
Which is it?
Container.
Yeah, the container for the navbar and this section. But if I were to use container, it's gonna take how much width? Around 80 to 90%. Okay, but what about this color? How much is this color spanning? Is it 80 to 90% or 100%?
No, 100.
Yeah, so what would I use?
Container. No, container is the tiny one.
Yeah, container fluid, because I want to have my color to take up the full screen, the full width of the screen. So that's why I'll use what? Container. Yeah, good, container fluid. So I'll just write container dash.
Container fluid is a bootstrap class, right?
Yeah.
That only the full width for 100.
Yes, exactly, exactly. So it takes up the full width of the screen. Okay, unlike container that takes up around 80% of the screen. Okay, okay, container fluid. Okay, then the container fluid, we've used container fluid because we want our color to take up the full width of the screen. But if we were to look in the navbar, how much space is the navbar taking? Is the navbar inside container fluid or container?
Container.
Yeah, container, good. So the container fluid is for the background, and inside the container fluid we are going to put container. Why is that? Because our navbar and our hero section is taking up around 80% of the screen. So that's why we need container. So why do we need container fluid?
For the background?
Very good, for the background. So we want the background to span 100%, so that's why we use container fluid. And we want our navbar and hero section to take up less space, so that's why we've used container. Any problem until now?
No.
Okay, great. Again, now comes the you can say the fun part, because we are not going to design any of it. We are not going to design any part of the navbar. Why is that? Because Bootstrap already takes care of that. So I'm gonna go inside the Bootstrap and I'll write here navbar, and we have a fully functional navbar here. I'll just have to change it. So I'll just copy it, and then I'm gonna paste it where? Inside the container fluid or container?
Container. Container.
Container, yeah, because I wanted to have less space. So I'll just paste it, save it, and then if I were to go back to my website, we have a proper navbar. And the best part is, if I were to make it small, the items are gone. Now if I were to click on this, it basically works. Okay, just by using Bootstrap, we have achieved this fully functional navbar within, I guess, 10 seconds. So that's it. Okay, but now comes the main part, and that is we have to change it like this. Okay, we have to change it according to our own. So the first thing I want to do is I want to remove this one, this search bar. Okay, so how do I do it? So basically this one is located in the end, so I'll just go, so the nav bar starts from here. I'll just go in the end, and we can see a form here. Okay, so the form, I'm gonna delete this form, save it, go back to our website, and this thing is gone now. Any problem until now?
No. No.
Okay. The second thing we want to do is we want to push these items to the right side. If you were to look here, they are all on the right side. Okay, so whereas here we have it on the left side. So now we want to locate these items. So how do we do that? We'll just scroll up a bit because they are just beside this the logo. So I'll just scroll up a bit, and if you were to see here, we have, yeah, here it is. Here are the items, your home, your link, and all of it. Okay, home, link, drop down, and so on. So if we were to look at the classes here, this one is saying ME auto. What does ME refers to? Take a guess. What does M auto refers to?
Margin auto.
Margin auto, good. So what would ME refers to? What do you think E refers? Okay, wait. What does MT refers to?
Margin top.
MB?
Oh, MB.
No. MT is margin top. That's good. What about MB?
MB will be margin bottom.
Yeah, good. And what about the left and right?
Would that be margin end?
Yeah, good. So that ME refers to margin end. So what this class is saying, take all of the space and give it to the end. So basically it's taking all the space and giving it to the end. So what if we want to give all the space to the left side? So what would be the opposite of end? What is the opposite
Start.
of end? Sorry?
Start.
Start, good. So instead of ME, I'll just write what? M what?
S.
Good. MS auto. So this would mean take all of the space and give it to the left side. So if we were to give all the space to the left side, what would happen to these items? They all would be pushed towards the right side. Okay, so basically MS refers to take all the space from the right side and give it to the left side. What does ME refers to? Margin end, which would mean take all the space from the left side and give it to the end, that is the right side. And if you want to do the opposite of it, we'll just do MS auto, like give all the space to the start. So if we have all the space in the start, everything is going to be pushed towards the right side. So if we were to save it, it's now in the right side. Okay, wait, I think somebody's joined. So any questions?
No.
Okay, great. So now we just have to edit it according to our own. So we have the home, then we want home, about, services, portfolio, and team. Okay, so I'll just copy it down. So home, I'll just copy this one down. Home, about, services, portfolio, team. What's the shortcut for copying all of it down?
Control. No.
Not control.
Shift.
Shift.
Alt. All
Good.
down.
Very good. Shift all the way down. So first one is home, second one is about, third one is services, fourth one is portfolio, fifth one is team, and then we have pricing, blog, drop down, contact. Okay, pricing, blog, we already have a drop down here, so I'll just write here pricing and blog, and we already have this drop down. Okay, it's included the moment we copied the nav bar from Bootstrap. So I'll copy this link, and after the drop down I want to have this contact, so I'll remove this disabled link because we don't want this disabled link. Okay, wait, where was it? Okay, we don't want this disabled link, this one. So I'll just locate it and remove it, and instead of that I'm going to put a li, and this one is going to say contact. Save it, and we have a fully functional Navbar, if I were to click on this one, it's gonna do the functions. Why is that? Because we have included the script link from Bootstrap. Okay, so lastly we have this. What is this?
A button.
A button. Yeah, good. So after this one, this I'm gonna do copy it down again, and we'll have wait. Yeah, it's saying contact, but this one is saying get started. So I'll change this to get started. Save it, and I want to have I want to make it into a button. So how do I do that? I'll just change the class. What's the class for button?
Button.
No, no,
BPN.
BDN. So I'll just write BDN. And what's the color for this one?
Intro.
Info. Good. So I'll write what? BG info or BTN info?
BG dash info.
Yeah, we can do BG dash info, but I want to. Okay, let's say BG info. BG info. So we'll have this one. Okay, but if I were to write BTN info, we'll have the hover effects and all of the stuff. Why didn't it work? BTN info. Save it. Oh, okay, it didn't work because of this nav link class. So let's change it back to BG. Okay, now I want to have it. I want it to have a white color. What's the class for that? What's the class for giving it a white color?
Color. Okay.
No, no, no. The class, the bootstrap class. Text, and then white.
Center.
Text white. Okay. Now I want to make it a full round. I want it to be full round. So how do I do that? What was the class? We have discussed about this. In order to make something full round, we have yes, good, rounded, and then
Bill.
pill. Good, like a pill. I want to make it rounded like a pill. Okay. Now I want to have it some padding from the x-axis. So what's the class for that? Only from the x-axis. What's the class for giving
PX.
it padding? Yes, px. Good. Px refers to padding x, and the maximum it goes is
5.
5. Good. So we don't want it to have 5, but let's say 3 or 4. Yeah. Now we have padding from the x-axis. Okay, that's it. But something's remaining, and that is, can you see this grayish color?
Yeah.
Is it visible? Yeah, we want to remove it. So if we were to scroll up a bit and look at the nav bar, we have this class called BG body tertiary. This color is because of this class. So I'll remove it, save it, and now we have a perfect nav bar. Okay. Now I want to change the logo, the nav bar. So I want to write Arsha instead of this nav bar. So let's look at nav bar. So here it is. And what would I write? I'll write Arsha. Save it. Okay, now I want to make it bigger. What's the class?
Font size. FS.
Yeah, font size.
FS.
FS, good. And the maximum it goes is
6.
6. But I want to make it bigger, so I'll write FS6 or 1.
1.
1, good. I think it's too much, FS1. Let's reduce the size to FS2. Okay, great. Now I want to make it uppercase, like every letter should be capital. So what would be the class? I haven't told you guys about it, but take a guess. What would be the class to make everything capital?
Is it CT?
Good, uppercase.
Will it be uppercase?
Yeah, it would be uppercase, but there is another word that comes before uppercase.
Like you want to make the text
Very good.
uppercase?
So the class would be text uppercase.
Text uppercase.
Yeah, and that's it.
So does that make all the letters uppercase?
Yeah, all the letter uppercase. If we were to write text capitalize, what would happen?
Only the first one.
Only the first one. Okay, but we want to make every letter capital, so I'll write text uppercase. Okay, now I want to make it bolder. How do I do that?
Wait.
Very good. What's the class?
FW.
FW, good. And I'll write bold.
Oh.
And now it's bold. So yeah, we have a navbar ready, and how much time did it take? I guess hardly 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, and what's the best part? It's totally responsive. If you were to go on a small screen, it's totally responsive. Look, okay. So any questions about this
Yeah.
one?
No.
Okay, let's move towards the next part, and that is this is the color we want to put. Okay, this bluish color. So this color is not present in Bootstrap. So what will we do?
Do we have
Style it.
to?
Very good. We are gonna do our own styling. Okay. So I'll go in our styling, and first, in order to test it whether the styling is working or not, I'll just target the body, and I'll say, let's say, background, just to test it. Okay, and let's say red. So it's not gonna work. Why is that?
Because they're not connected.
Very good, because they're not connected. They're not linked. So how do we link it? In the head tag, after the bootstrap, because we want a bootstrap to be executed first, I'll write what? What would I write?
Link.
Link, good. And then, is the styles located in the
Just
current folder?
yeah.
So what would I write?
The styles dot
Uh-huh.
css.
First I have to specify the path. So, dot, meaning
Oh,
the
dot.
current folder, and then slash for the path, and we want to link this one. Save it, and yeah, perfect. Now it's linked. So let's remove this one. Okay, so now we want to target the main container that is taking up the full space. And what was the name of that container? The one taking up the full space?
The navbar
Uh-huh. What was the name of the container
container.
that is taking up the full space?
Container
Container
fluid.
fluid.
Container fluid. But now comes the crucial part, and that is, are we going to target this container fluid in our CSS, or are we going to target another class? Would we target container fluid because we want to have background on this container fluid, right? Yeah, we want to have the background on this container fluid, so we are going to target this container fluid in CSS. Is that it?
Yeah.
But there would be a problem. Is it only
There will
going to
be
be one
multiple
container
container
fluid on
fluid.
our website, or would we have multiple container fluids on our website?
Multiple.
Yeah.
Multiple, very
Multiple.
good. We'll have multiple container fluids on our website. So if we were to target, let's say, container fluid here, what would happen is it's going to target all the container fluids in our website, and we don't want that. Okay, so what's the solution for this? Give me a solution. We don't
So
want
we
to.
have to.
Yeah.
So we have to give each container fluid a different class.
Very good. That's exactly what we
Mm.
have to do. Very good. So basically, if we want to style this one, we'll just give it a different class, and let's say I'll call it, let's say, hero section, because it's in the hero section. Okay. So now I won't target container fluid because it's going to target all of them, all of the container fluid. So I'll target what? Hero section. Okay, so we want to have this color on hero section, and this color is going to be used again and again. So what would I do if we want to use something that is being used again and again? So what do we do?
You just copy paste it like.
No, there was another thing we did in simple X. We made a variable for that.
Yeah.
So how do we make variables? How do we make variables?
Was it the dot main?
Not main, it was colons and then root.
Roots.
Okay.
Roots. Yeah. Collins and roots.
Yeah. So give me a name for the main color. Let's call it main color. Okay. So
Main.
dash dash, and I'll write main color. So this is the syntax for making the variables. Okay. Dash dash and then the name of your variable. So this is what we want. This bluish color. So I'll copy it and paste it here. Perfect. So we want this hero section to have this color. So I'll write background color to be, how do I target it? The variables. Very good. var var, and then the main color. Save it. Perfect. Okay, so now we want to target these links. So I'll just say hero section, and then I'll target every A inside the hero section. Okay, because these links are basically, if you were to scroll down a bit, they are A tags. Okay, so I'll do what? Hero section and then A. And what would I do in order to make it have white color? Color, good. And then white, but it's not gonna work. No, it did work, but apart from this one, first one. And why is that? Because this one has a class of active applied on it. Active would mean that this one is selected. So if I were to remove it, it's gonna work. Okay, but there is another problem, and that problem is this one. What's the problem? Yeah, very good. They also have the color of white, so we don't want that. So let us locate these ones. So if you were to scroll a bit down, we'll see the class with the name of drop down. So we're gonna say every link inside the drop down shouldn't have a black color, shouldn't have a white color, sorry. So everything inside this drop down menu class, we don't want it to have a white color, we want it to have a black color. So this is the class we want to target. So I'll copy it in the styles, I'll paste it, and I'll say every A inside the drop down menu, we want it to have a color of black. Save it, and now they're black. Any questions? Okay, great. Now we're done with the nav bar. Let's move towards this hero section. Now comes the fun part, and that is the row and columns layout. So on the bigger screen, we have them side by side. Okay, so the moment it reaches the medium screen, now they're up and down in the column wise direction. So how do we make something whenever we see something side by side? What's the class for that in Bootstrap? Whenever we see something side by side. Very good, row. So we'll do row, and make sure you're inside the same container because they're perfectly aligned. Okay, look, the nav bar and the hero section are perfectly aligned because they're both inside this container, the main container. So I'll just go inside this container. Here it is, and I'll give a class of what? Row. And how much column is each one of them taking? Like when you define row, you have 12 columns. Okay, so how much each one of them is taking? Very good, 6. They're taking the equal space, right? So basically, if we have 12 columns, so this one is taking 6, this one is also taking 6. Okay, so what would I write here in order to make it take 6 spaces, 6 columns? Very good, call, and then dash lg dash 6. Very good. So this one is for the first one, this is for the second one. Okay, let's move towards the first one. So the first thing we have, what is this? This is h1 because this is the main heading. So I'll paste it here. After the h1 we have this p. We're gonna give it some classes, okay, in order to make it style it better. So p. And after this we have this button. So what's the class? What's the class for button? So I'll write button. And what's the class for button?
BTN.
BTN, good. And which color is this button?
Info.
So I'll write what? BTN dash info. Okay. And it says get started. So get started. Save it. And after this button we will have another button. And this one is going to say button, and just with the class of BTN because it doesn't have any color, so that's why it'll just be button. And it would say watch where's the W? Watch video. Perfect, we have a button. Okay, great. Now in the second column we have this image, so I'll just copy it and paste it in the second column. So the second column I'll have an image. Paste it, save it, And yeah, perfect, great. But the only problem is we want to have this image take up the 100% of its parent. So inside this image we'll just say width to be 100%. Perfect. Now let's move towards styling this section. So this H1, what's the color of this H1? What is the color of this H1?
White.
White. So what's the class for that? So I'll write class here. And what would I write here?
Color.
What's the class for that?
Text color.
Very good. Text dash and then text white. Very good. Text white. Now I want to make it bigger. Font size, but again the problem is it's already FS1. It already and it's already having the heading 1, so it's the biggest it can go. So what was the class if you want to make it more bigger? We have discussed about this yesterday.
Display.
Very good, display. So I'll just write display dash, the maximum it goes is 6, so I'll write, let's say 5, let's say. Yeah, perfect, 5. Now I want to make it bolder. What's the class? Yeah, good. FW
FW.
bold. Perfect. Now let's target this paragraph. Cross the class, and first of all we want to make it a bit bigger. So how do I do that?
FS.
Very good. FS, because FS is going to work because it's not H1 or H2. So let's say FS4. Yeah, perfect. Now comes the part for changing the color. So I'll write text dash white dash 50. It's text white 50 would refer to a shade of white, like a grayish color. Okay, it's the Bootstrap class. So we have the same color. So it's a bit bold, if you can see. It's a bit bold as compared to ours. Okay, so what would I do? A bit bold, not that much bold. So what would I do? Very good. Font weight to be what?
Lighter.
The semi bold. Okay, and we have it a semi bold. Now the problem is this one is above as compared to this one. Like both of these are not aligned in the center. So what was the clause for making them align in the center? What's the class for making them go exactly in the center?
Text center.
No. Text center is going to align the text. Very good. Align items. But the problem is align items is the property of flex. Do we have any flex in here? We don't. But this row is displayed flex. Okay, by default this row class has a display of flex. If you were to see the pop-up that is showing, what's the display saying? What is the display saying? Yeah, so basically this row is display flex, so we can use align items on this row. So we're gonna use a Bootstrap class for aligning items. It's align is the same. Okay, I'll say align dash items dash center. It's coming from Bootstrap. Okay, we are not gonna write just justify content and then space between or space around, or we are not gonna say align items and then center. We already have. Yeah. Yeah, you can use that because row is displayed flex. Okay, you can also use gap here. Okay, because again this row is displayed flex, and they're perfectly aligned. But what's the best part? If I were to make it smaller, it's perfectly responsive. If I were to open it on a mobile phone, it's perfectly responsive. Look. And what did we do? We just made call LG6 and call LG6, and that's it. Any questions?
No.
Okay, great. So now there's another topic. Wait, we have to style these buttons and then we'll move towards the next topic. If you were to see this image, what is this image doing?
It's moving.
Exactly, it's moving. It's animated. Okay, so our next topic is animation, and that's all of the sections we're going to do today, inshallah. Okay, The next topic is going to be animations. So this is all for this class. Okay, after the animations we can end the class, but again your homework would be creating up until this point. So we only have one section. You only have one section to do until tomorrow. Okay,
Okay.
so let's target let's start these buttons first. So I want to have white color on this button. So what should I do? I'll locate this button. Very good. Text and then
Right.
dash white. Yes, we have a white color now. Now I want to make it rounded. What's the class for that? Like full rounded.
Rounded.
Very good. Rounded what?
Fill.
Rounded fill. Yes. Great. Now I want to have this one to take up white color. So inside the second one, I'll just write what?
Text white.
Very good. Text white. Perfect. Now I want to have this icon, and where do we get our icons from?
Bootstrap
Bootstrap
icons.
icon. So I'm going to go inside the Bootstrap in the icons tab. So the first thing I need to do is
CDN.
very good CDN. So I'm not going to scroll down. I'll just press Control F and write CDN. It's going to take me there. I'll copy it. Okay, there's one thing you need to remember. The CDN for Bootstrap is different than CDN for Bootstrap icons. Okay, these two are different. You have to paste both of them in your code. Okay.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask that question.
Yeah. Is there a question?
No, no, you answered it. That was my question.
Sorry,
Like
I
if we
didn't
can, since we already put that CDN, do you still have to put that?
Yeah, you have to use different CDN. So this one is for the Bootstrap styling, and this one is for the Bootstrap icons. Okay, and these two are separate. You have to add both of these CDNs. Okay, so now I want to add this icon. So this icon is, I guess, called, wait, let me first collapse this because it's taking up too much space. Okay, so this one, yeah. So I think it's called I with a class of bi dash play dash circle. Yeah, perfect. Okay, now we're gonna study a new topic, and this topic is called animations. So this image is basically doing what? It's being animated. Okay, so we can do simple animations in CSS like this one. Okay, so how can we do it? First, I'm gonna create a new file. So I'll name it animations. We're gonna apply it on this image later after we've learned about this. So animations.html. I'll generate the border page and I'll name it animations. Save it, and I'll make this go live. Okay, I'll close my server, click on it again, and now we have a fresh page. Okay, so what do I need here is I'm gonna create a box, and inside this box I'm gonna have a div called scare. Okay, any question about this? Any questions?
No.
So
No.
we've created a new file with the name of animations because we are studying a new topic, and then after studying this topic we are going to apply this on this image. Okay, so I'm going to do internal styling so we can make less files. So I'll write style, and then I'll target the box. So I'll write box. I'll make it have some width, maybe let's say 50%, or maybe let's say 500 pixels would be good. Height should also be, let's say, 500 px. Background is listed, right? Okay, now I want to make it go in the center, so what should I do? Margin auto. Okay, so now I'll target the scare. Width, let's say 100 px. Height is also 100 px, and background, let's say, is blue, not red. Okay, so now what do I want to do is I want to make this blue box slide to the right side. Okay, on its own, without any interference. The moment page loads, I want this blue box to slide to the right side. Okay, any question about the question? So is there any question about the problem statement, like what we want to do with the box?
No.
Okay, we want to make this blue box scroll to the right side. So how can we do that? We can do that using animations. Okay, so on which div do we want to apply animations? On which class? The red one or
The
blue one?
square. The blue one.
The blue one, and blue one is called scare. So the if you want to apply animations, the property is animation, and it takes a lot of stuff from you. Okay, all of these stuff, but I'm gonna remove it and I'm gonna go from scratch. So the property is animation. The first thing this takes is the name of your animation. Like, what do you want to name it? So I'll just name it, let's say, move. Again, you can name it whatever you want. The animation is going to be called move space. The second thing it takes is how much time does your animation going to be completed in. So I'll write, let's say, 5 seconds. Okay, like we want our box to move from left side to right side in 5 seconds. Okay, the third thing it takes is the iteration count. Like, how many times do you want your animation to repeat? So at the moment we'll say, let's say, 3. So it would mean that we want our animations to move 3 times. Like, we want this box to move left to right, then left to right, then again left to right 3 times. The fourth thing it takes is Bezier curve. Now, what is Bezier curve? The name is fancy, the logic is simple. So let me show you what Bezier curve is. Bezier curve CSS, and yeah. Okay, Bezier curve is the moment. It's like how your animation is going to be moved. Okay, what's the fashion of your animation to move? For example, I want you to pay close attention to this blue box. The first one is saying ease. The Bezier curve is saying ease. So if I were to press on go, this would mean start your animation fast but end it slowly. I want you to pay close attention on this blue one. So if I were to press go again, so basically animation starts fast but ends slow. This is the Bezier curve for ease. If I were to click on linear, what would linear mean? Like, the ease means start fast but end slow. So what would linear mean?
Faster
Linear.
from
Like
Together?
sorry.
Together? Like it'll move together?
smoother.
Wait, I'm gonna repeat again. Ease would mean start fast but end slow. What would linear mean?
Start slow and fast.
Same speed.
Linear.
Steady.
Steady,
Like
exactly.
the
Steady.
same.
It's gonna start at the same speed as it is going to end. So basically, throughout the animation, the speed is going to be the same. Okay. So if I were to press go again, pay close attention to this one, blue one. So go. So it's the same speed. Okay. Then we have ease in. So what would this do? What is this doing? What is ease in doing? It's starting
Start
slow
होगा sir.
but ending fast. What about ease out? What do you think ease out would do? It's gonna end slow but start fast. And what do you think ease in out would do? If ease in is going to start slow, it's gonna end fast. Ease out is gonna end fast, end slow but start fast. So what about ease in out? The starting point and the ending point would be same, but it's gonna change the speed in the middle. So here, so it's gonna start and end at the same speed, but it's gonna increase the speed in the middle. Okay, but mostly we use this linear Bezier curve. So the fourth thing it takes, the animation, it takes your Bezier curve, and for the moment we're gonna say linear. So linear would mean start at the same speed as you have to end it. So end and start at the same speed. And the last thing it takes is what would you want to do when the animation completes. At the moment I'm gonna say I'm not gonna do anything, so that's it. Okay, so please repeat what we just did. So first thing it takes is what? What is the first thing it takes? The animation,
The move.
the
Like
name,
where the direction
the name. Okay,
or move?
yeah, the name. Okay, the second thing, what does animation takes as a second parameter?
How many seconds?
Like how
The
long
time?
The how long for what?
for your animation to be
Very
completed?
good. For your animation to complete, how long do you want your animation to take in order to complete? The third thing, it takes the
How
iteration count,
fast?
like how many times do you want your animation to repeat.
Mm.
Okay, and what about the fourth thing?
You want them to move like either
Very good,
together or
very good,
slower or
exactly. What's the fashion of your animation to move? Okay, the Bezier curve. So that's it. Yeah, that's it. So but nothing's going to happen. Why is that? Because we have only said that we are going to apply the animations, we haven't applied it. Okay, so in order to apply the animations, we have a thing called at the rate and then keyframes. Okay, if you want your animation to work, then we have another thing called keyframes. After writing keyframes, you're going to put space and then you will write the name of your animation. What's the name of our animation?
mm,
Was
square
move. So
or
I'll just write
move?
what? Move. So there are two ways in order to make an animation. Okay, the first one is simple way, and then we have a complex way. We're going to start with the simple way. So this keyframes take from and then to. Like where do you want your animation to start and where do you want your animation to end? Any question about this from and to?
No.
Okay, so from would mean where do you want your animation to start, and to would mean where you want your animation to end. So where do we want our animation to start? This one, this position. So what is this position? This is, so how do we move, first of all, first please tell me, how do we move this box? What property do we apply in order to make this box move?
Margin?
Uh-huh. How do we move something according to its own axis? Very good. Transform. So we'll say transform and then translate x because we want to move it on the x axis. So we want to start it from the 0 position. Okay, and where do we want to end it? We'll again say transform translate x. So how much further do we want our blue box to go? Like how much do we want a blue box to go? We want it to go here now. So how much is it? So how much is the dimensions? What's the width of the box? 500 pixels. So we want our box to move to how much? 500 pixels. So that's it. Save it. And our box starts moving. But there's a problem. And how many times does it going to move? 3. So 1, 2, and this is the last time it's going to stop after this. But what was the problem?
After that.
It's outside the box. And why is that? Why do you think is that? Why do you think it's going outside the box? Okay, the problem is the width of the box was 500 pixels and the width of the sphere is 100 pixels. So basically it's going to add up to 600 pixels. So when we say that I want this box to move 500 pixels, it's going to move 500 plus 100 pixels including the width of the sphere. So that's why it goes outside the box. So how do we make a box be contained inside the red box? What do you think? How can we do that? We want a red box, blue box to be inside the red box. So at the moment we're saying it should move 500 pixels. But if it were to move 500 pixels, it already has a width of 100 pixels on its own. So basically 500 plus 100, it's 600. So basically it gets outside of the box. So how can we counter that? It's quite simple.
So we have to
No, position is not going to work on animation on animations. So look,
Make the Android left.
yes, good. We can subtract the width of this box from this width. Okay, when we say wait, let me open a pen and I'll show what I want to say. So this is a blue box and this is a red box. So the width of the bigger box is 500 pixels and the width of the smaller box is 100 pixels. So when we say that this box should move 500 pixels, it moves 500 pixels. Like it's moving and moving. When it reaches this, it basically now is 400 pixels. But if this box already has a width of 100 pixels, so basically what it's going to do is it's gonna move 100 pixels outside this box, because this box has its own width of 100 pixels. So if we want to make this box contain inside the red box, we can subtract the width of this box, and the width of this box is how much? How much is the width of this box? The blue one, 100 pixels. So if we were to subtract 100 from 500, we would be left with 400. So 400 would mean that this box is going to be contained inside the parent. So here you go. So how many times is it going to do it? 3 times. Okay. So what if we want to make it move infinitely? So instead of 3, we're gonna write infinite. So this would mean that this animation is going to be infinitely moving, and let me decrease the time so it completes a little fast. So here you go. So it's gonna repeat infinitely. But there's a problem, and that problem is the moment it reaches the end of the animation, it snaps back to the initial position. What we want to do is we want to move this box to the right side, and then we want this box to move from right to left, like in alternate way. Okay, like this. So how can we do that? We can do that by using this last parameter that this animation takes. So we want this box to move alternately. So at the end we can just put alternate. So this would mean where animation finishes, start from there, do not snap back. Okay, so basically this would mean that make the animation alternate. The moment it finishes, start from that point. So if I were to save it,
The card is running in 2 minutes.
okay, wait. So I'll send you a new link. Okay, so we were talking about the animations. Yeah. So any question about this one? This one moving continuously because we have put the infinite. And what does this alternate mean? What does this alternate mean? Yeah, over and over again. But this infinite would mean over and over again. This alternate would mean that from where you finish an animation, that is this point, start from there. Like the moment an animation finishes, start from that point, do not snap back to the initial position. Okay, this alternate would mean that the moment an animation finishes, start from that point onwards. Okay, so for the time being, that's all for this class. So what I want you guys to do is create this first section, and apply this animation on this image. Okay, any questions? Are you sure? Because all of a sudden all of you guys are really quiet now. Okay.
You just have to basically put that whole thing in that div, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's it. This one is doing what? Wait, this one is basically moving left and right. And what about this one? What is this doing? This is moving up and down. So that's exactly what you have to do. What we just did right now, that's exactly what you have to do with this image. Okay. But the main thing is not animations. Main thing is row and column layout. Okay, if you were to do that, that would be perfect. So any questions?
No.
Okay, so I'll upload the assignment and I'll make the deadline to be tomorrow 5 p.m. US. Okay, and I guess it would be 4 here. Okay, so any questions?
No.
Okay, you can leave then. Inshallah, we'll have a meeting tomorrow. Allah Hafiz.
Thank you.
Allah Hafiz. Allah Hafiz. Allah Hafiz.